this whole like kind of Rome developer community is gonna kind of take off like wildfire.
Hey everyone, welcome to my third consulting call video. In this video, I talked to Scott Block, who just became my first sponsor. That wasn't a pre-existing friend or family, so thank you so much, Scott. In this video, we talk about all the different possible functionality that we could implement in Rome by using the Apple Pencil and other types of possible extensions through that. So I hope you guys enjoy.
I came across like your Google Calendar stuff, and I was also working on like Rome Google Calendar stuff. So that was cool. And it seems
Oh
like you're,
shit.
yeah, you're like further along. I was trying to do it like server side, and like I was just kind of like waiting for the API to come along. So you
Yeah,
definitely beat me to it, and that's awesome. I still have this day job all day. So definitely have less time to put into all this. So
yeah, I guess I have the leg up on you. Instead of the waiting for an API, yeah, Victor like clued me into just simulating user events, and I
yeah,
guess that's like the best we could do for right now. And so there's actually this testing library called User Event does just that. It just like simulates user key presses. So I was like, I'm just gonna rip this and
yeah,
use that for like importing the events because I have no idea when the new at the time I had no idea when the new Rome
yeah.
API was coming out. Now it's like it seems like it's finally coming together, which is really fucking exciting.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I like there's gonna be so much like people are gonna spend a ton of money on these different like integrations and add-ons and stuff, I think.
Yeah,
Um
I can like I see the like momentum building. I see it's like about to explode and just trying
yeah.
to try to get
And
in while before I can.
yeah, and Rome is like it seems like they're being really smart about like the fellow stuff and the Rome fund and like just like really supporting the community and throwing money into it, which I think it'll just like light a fire and yeah, things will take off pretty well. I'm excited.
Yeah, particularly with they just seem very focused more on community than they are on the product, which I think is so cool. Like
Yeah,
the product is great, but like they're doing whatever they can to like empower the community, and if that means like putting like a shitty like Rome JS thing block so that other people can play around with it as like a stopgap, then they're just gonna do that and let us and like just unleash us. And so I thought it was like I really appreciate their focus on the community more so like
yeah.
than the
Yeah,
product.
it's funny like watching like Connor get into like product roadmap arguments on Twitter because he's from my experience, I think he's definitely like has the right mindset where it's like you can't worry about like you don't need to worry about polish right now for sure, and you don't need to worry about like edge case features that people are just like randomly bringing up. Just build like the really big kind of big picture things and then like let use it how they want to use it. So I think it's pretty cool.
Just in general, tell me more about like
Yeah.
what you're up
Uh,
to.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't really started yet, and I wanted to. So basically, it started like I'm building. I'm not building, but I got some like shelves that I'm gonna use as kind of like a standing desk, and I'm gonna put like I'll have like a nice like 4K monitor that can like USB-C like plug into an iPad Pro or like a laptop or whatever. And I just wanted to kind of be like my like Roam station. It's like kind of in the corner with like some windows, so I can just always like go there and get my thoughts out easily. So I wanted to just create like a perfect kind of like interface to do that. And I think like the iPad would be really nice. I have some like specific ideas, but like yeah, being able to draw stuff, just like create some like block that you can draw onto directly, like that'd be helpful. But the other thing I do a lot is just like quickly screenshot something from my laptop and like paste it into Rome, and it'll like upload the photo and everything. If I could just like take notes on that, that was like the first thing I was thinking, like being able to take like an image, take a screenshot quickly, put it into Rome, and then like quickly mark it up with whatever I want to do. That'd be
Oh
pretty cool.
snap! To just like draw notes like literally on the image.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And I think like it seems like it might be possible to do that with like Canvas HTML5 stuff. Like it wouldn't be completely impossible. It wouldn't be easy, but I think it might be possible. You like read the image and like get into like the raw data format. And part of it is like I don't know how like the Apple Pencil API stuff works at all. So and like what you can do in a web browser with that. I'm assuming you can maybe do something. It might be something we need to like wait and like try to build a mobile app around. And then like another cool thing, I know you've been doing like a lot of like mobile friendly stuff with like the to-do list and stuff like that. I thought it'd be really cool. Like if I'm looking at a to-do item in Rome on the iPad, being able to just like check it off and then like have it, cross out. Yeah. Something like that. And then capturing text would be cool, right? So if you had the block in your drawing, being able to like actually like have some sort of OCR, that'd be pretty nice. I don't think I personally used it that much. My handwriting is terrible. I'm sure that'd be nice. And then like, have you played around with like the diagram function at all in Rome?
No, I haven't. What do people usually? What are some of the more like what are the use cases that people have been using the diagram for?
I don't know. I haven't used it a ton either. like right now it's just kind of like you have like child nodes like under the diagram and you can connect them like kind of freehand. So it'd be nice to be able to do that like with the pencil interface. I would think eventually though, like you could basically define like a DAG direct to the graph or whatever, and like have some sort of schema that automatically like creates like relationship stuff based on like how you have nested, like how you have your data nested underneath in Room.
Yeah.
I'm sure a million people are going to do that.
Interesting. So instead of like having the bullet, like the hierarchical bullet, like replace that with the DAG diagram.
Yeah. Which like it would be like pretty specific use cases that people are coming up with there. But then like you're starting to like define like a schema for your nodes, and like I think it'd be pretty powerful. But like with the pencil, the iPad pencil, just being able to like draw different blocks and connect them and have that maybe spit out like the children like nested in different ways or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Are you familiar with like any libraries that exist that play with like the Apple Pencil? Because I imagine like a lot of these sort of integrations might already exist, where like there are probably JavaScript libraries out there that like take the quite of like the Apple Pencil and like translate it into like
I haven't looked into any of that yet. I figured it'd be good to like talk to you about this generally and then kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm sure there's probably some sort of JavaScript stuff. I know Apple's pretty like guarded with some of their APIs and everything, so I don't know how much of it you can just do like on the open web compared to like having to build an app, and then that'd be like a whole other thing because presumably like I'm guessing Rome is going to make their own iOS app. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I think they're like deprioritizing the mobile apps right now because they have basically like all hands on ship on this like back end refactor for like multiplayer and API and stuff.
Yeah, so I'd be curious. Like, I guess I'd want to, and like why I think I like thought to hit you up is like I wanted to see like what I could do in a browser, like in Safari on the iPad, like in light of not having like a full API and building like a mobile app and everything. So that's where I'm at now.
Got it. So have you like played around with like the Roam JS block at all? Like what's your level of experience with it so far?
No, not much. I mean, I was starting to poke around. I wasn't sure. It didn't look like there was a ton of stuff like with the images, and that was like kind of where I wanted to start. But I'm sure I could pull that stuff in and everything. So yeah, I need to play around with the Roam JS stuff, or convince you to play around with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for more ideas to add to my backlog, and so I already have a ton from here. The issue is I don't have an iPad or an Apple Pencil, so in order for me to invest time in that, I might have like some open campaign to have people maybe buy it for me.
I was gonna I have them sitting in my cart on Best Buy right now, like ready to ship to me, so I could start to play around with it. But I figured I should talk to you before I spent $1,500 on an iPad and accessories. But
so in terms of like what you could do on Roam, it's pretty like wide open. Basically, like anything that you can do on like a JavaScript dev console, you can do like in Roam itself, because what people have been doing is like basically developing their scripts on the side, and then the scripts get like imported into the Roam JS block and just like thrown onto the DOM, and it gets loaded right away. And so it's like pretty wide open, like the sets of things that you can do. Now they don't really have any hooks to like insert data anywhere. So like anytime you want to insert data, it's been mostly like manual user events, but they have a couple APIs for querying data across your graphs, and it seems like they load like a lot of your data on the initial load, and then outside of that, it's been mostly like just querying the DOM and like inspecting different elements to see like how you can fetch a bunch of this stuff. I also have an article like sort of going over a lot of these basics that I'm about to share with you here. And it's like I talk like a lot about like a lot of the like initial strategies I've been employing to write like a lot of these extensions.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I'll start playing around. I wanted to kind of see like how much of this was on your radar, like as far as, because like you were doing a lot of like mobile stuff. So I was wondering like if you're looking at like iPad, like all these different devices.
Yeah, I actually haven't been looking at it at all. And so that's like a wide open domain for you to tap into if you'd like. Also, I'd also be like super down to like collab on any of the things that you're working on.
Yeah.
If you're like looking for help once you like run into roadblocks or such.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also working, I have like a whole bunch of ideas. I think I have so many Roam ideas. I think the other one that I'd be interested in is like doing better like embeds. So like if you're embedding an image, being able to like automatically do some OCR on the image and get text out of it, text and tags and all that stuff. Like I saw someone was like pulling out tags like out of blocks of regular text, but you could do that, from an image first. And then also doing the same thing with like the Twitter embeds, instead of just like doing that like iframe embed that we have now, pulling like querying the Twitter API so you can get like metadata about the tweet and like formatting all that into Roam.
Dude, so somebody recently just started contributing to my repo and is doing a Twitter integration such that for like a given page, based on what the page title is, it'll just search Twitter for like all references of that page title. So if you're on like the books page, it'll like query all tweets with like the word books in the last like 7 days or something like that.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I mean the only other thing, I'm not sure how these Roam fellows and all that stuff is working. I was like reading through the email that they sent out a couple days ago, and like two of the themes for the Roam fellows were like tools for thought and augmenting the human intellect. So I think they're trying to get like Roam into different input devices and like capture data, from different ways, like an iPad with the pencil and everything.
I have a Google Home, and one of my ideas in my backlog is to like be able to just get OK Google, add X to Roam, and like just have that as like a quick capture system.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to. I'll probably just start kind of playing around with it and see what happens. But it does seem like something that they might be interested in funding or something. I mean, I'm not going to leave my day job anytime soon, but we're pretty busy and getting ready to IPO, so gotta stay put here. But something we could collab on and potentially show to them, like for the fellows thing, at some point down the road.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent the fellows sort of seems like on like the knowledge worker side, or like on the people, like tools for thought side. And I sort of view myself as like somebody who wants to empower the people who are working on those problems.
Like more, and so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like build out like the little features and extensions and like little productivity hacks that allows people to sort of do those operations easier. And if you are someone like of those fellow, like get a sense of like what you would need to like do your job more efficiently.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I have other ideas. Like
shoot. Yeah, I'm here to collect as many ideas as possible.
Yeah, like just on that like knowledge worker side, I think like I was talking to someone who basically like she works in the restaurant industry, and she was like I got her like kind of hooked on Roam, and she was saying how useful it would be like to run a restaurant like with all the like ingredients that you need, and like having chefs like prepare different recipes and like doing inventory and stuff like that. Like being able to run all that through Roam over time would actually be super powerful, she was saying. And that's something like that never would have even crossed my mind, like a traditional business like that's not even particularly like online or anything. Being able to use a graph like Roam, like with when multiplayer mode and everything is shipped and everything. Yeah. So I thought stuff like that is really cool.
When I hear use cases like that, there's like two thoughts that go in my head. There's one thought where it's like, you should like tools should be like tools should do one thing really well. And if a tool is trying to like do a little bit of everything, then it's like not doing any of it particularly well. But then there's a second thought I have where Roam could be less of a tool and more of like an operating system. Right. Where it's like people are like building apps on top of it using like its core like linking feature set.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are like sort of like divergent paths, and I think they might be going more towards like the operating system side and like allowing people to like build stuff on top of Roam.
I think it's interesting. Like if you think about like what does Roam do well, you could argue it's like it helps whatever their tagline is, like networked thought, right? Like it helps you think better, right? And then you could apply like how to think better into like whatever different domains people have. Because I think that's also like the flexibility of Roam, I think, is like what it makes it super powerful. Like I've seen like management and product stuff in Roam where it's like very rigid workflows that people are building out with like very specific templates, and like that's not personally how I work in general. Like I need like more kind of fluidity in time and space, like in general, and Roam kind of lets you be like as rigid or fluid as you want, because it's so easy to kind of like put things together and tear them apart really quickly.
Yeah, it could almost like evolve to being its own like no code tool where like people people could like build their own like apps like on top of Roam.
I think I've thought about that too. Like I think there's room. I think Roam would need to kind of enable it on their end, but basically if there was like a way to take like different blocks and just like have different ways to render them on the screen, right? It's like the Twitter embed now is like an easy way. You post a tweet, and it recognizes that's a tweet and then it like puts it into the iframe. Like you could have all sorts of different things that kind of render different like kind of rich like web components depending on like what you're pasting in there, and then like anyone could contribute to that, I think, pretty easily.
Yeah, and I mean we could do that. We could do that now, right? Like we like they've given us the flexibility to take any sort of integration and sort of build that. Like when I started with the Google Calendar, I have like a Google Calendar integration and a GitHub integration. And what I realized is that like those were very like specific to my workflows, and there were a lot of work to get stuff working that were like specific to me. And so what I want to do more, if I'm gonna do any integrations from here on out, I want to do it more to like service other people, because like a lot of times these integrations do take a lot of work, and it's like a lot of documentation reading and a lot of trying to figure out like how do I like even get data from your end, and by your I mean like whatever the other API is. And so yeah, it's like I want, for now it's like the tools I'm working on are like more niche and like a lot smaller, so like sorting like references. The next one I'm going to work on is like sorting queries. But with conversations like these, I would be happy to like look into more of like some of this like image OCR stuff or like Apple Pencil integrations.
Yeah.
Particularly since like you've reached out to me and like you've expressed interest in those types of integrations.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can get started on it, and like I want to buy the iPad anyway, so I can do that, and then start to poke around and see what's possible with. Now, I think it's gonna be like there'll be a lot of like ways like people will want to like render things within Roam. Like I could think of basically like a Roam component library where you're choosing, like the to-do lists is one, like people want to like have it like crossed out instead of like the checkbox. You could just imagine like a whole library of different like checkbox styles, and you just choose the one, and then that's what gets rendered on your page. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I sort of next week I'm planning with all my extensions, I have like a common file that they all use with like some common functions that are used across a bunch of different ones. I want to take that file and turn it into itself like an npm package to expose like a bunch of these different methods, and that way like any other developers like you could like then install those functions and just like use them out of the box instead of having to rediscover the wheel.
Yeah, no, I'd totally use that if that's something you have coming around the corner. I mean, I could start to use that for like the iPad Pencil stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's I think I'm going to prioritize it next week. I think after this week I'll have enough like extensions out there to like have built like some momentum, and I think slow it down to maybe like just one extension a week, while on the side building out this like more npm utility library to like start empowering more developers to get in on this playground.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It'll be, I definitely, like, I heard you talk about it in the other thing on YouTube, like, you're just trying to basically just use whatever Roam is giving us now and just kind of going at it and not waiting at all. Are you worried at all about, like, the Roam API being released and it, like, undoing a lot of this initial work?
Not too much. It's like a lot of the work I'm doing is, like, very hacky in nature anyway, and I, like, my goal with a lot of the features I put out is just, like get something working, like, and just, like get it in front of users.
Good way to, and like test it, like from kind of like a lean startup perspective, like get the idea out there, see what people are gravitating towards. Then when there is an API, you're gonna be ready to go with like a prioritized set of things to build.
Right, exactly. Like, so like I have like a lot of my text insertion like wrapped up into like a function, right? And so if they give me a better way to do that, I can just like rip that out, and I mean I'll be ecstatic to rip it out right now because it's janky as fuck. Like I'd be so I can just take that out and put it in the like Roam alpha API dot push, and then call it a day.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll keep I'm pretty busy with the day job and some other side projects, but I definitely I'm doing this like kind of standing desk thing, like that's all happening anyway. So I'll get the iPad for it and the pencil, because even if I don't have it all completely tied to Roam, like even if I'm able to just like take a screenshot and draw some stuff and then screenshot it, copy paste it back into Roam, that wouldn't be too bad anyways. So I'll definitely get started down that path and just kind of start with like, like what I just described, like that'd be like kind of out of the box a way to use Apple Pencil with Roam. And then I'll start to try to make that workflow as easy as possible, I guess, just for myself, and then kind of iterate from there.
Yeah. And if you if you run into like any roadblocks or looking for like any easier way to do this, feel free to like hit me up on Twitter, and I'd be happy to share any of the pains that I've learned over the last few weeks.
I could also see, especially just because you have more time to dedicate to this than I do right now. If I got to a point where I like kind of scoped out the work more specifically, where it's like, this is what I want to do, and like I could kind of see the different functions I could use and just don't have time to implement it all, like just give that to you, and I could pay extra, or give it to India.
That'd be awesome. If you like were to
Exactly.
Yeah, like to just say like
Break out.
here's the expected behavior. I want to do this, and I want to do X. I expect Y to happen. Like, and just like
Yeah.
give me visibility into that. I would be happy to prioritize that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can figure out something as far as, helping like sponsorship, whatever, making it so that, you're, I don't want to just like overtake your roadmap or anything like that.
Well, I sort of have a similar roadmap philosophy I was inspired by Connor's roadmap philosophy, which is to like just go week by week. And actually what I've been doing the last 2 weeks is I took my 4 favorite ideas and I just put it on a Twitter poll, and then whoever like whichever one wins out, that's like what I'm going to work on. But if a sponsor comes around and says, "Hey, I'd like, it'd be really cool if you work on this," it seems like that's a great reason to bump that up and put it above.
Cool. Yeah, no, that sounds good. We'll definitely be in touch, and we can figure it out as we go. Yeah, sounds good. It's great to talk to you and everything. That's all I really have. If you have any other questions.
I mean, it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome meeting you, and I look forward to keeping in contact. And
yeah, for sure. I'm sure we'll be in touch at some point. I think this whole like kind of Rome developer community is gonna kind of take off like wildfire. So
yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, dude. Catch you later then.
Yeah, cool. Have a good one. Nice to talk and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for watching. To catch up on more of what I'm building, please check out my website at davidvargas.me. If you find that you're getting value out of what I'm creating, I would really appreciate you sending me back some value by becoming a sponsor. Head to the support link in the description below to find out more on how you can do so and for me to continue doing the work that I do. Thanks again.